Accessing fifth dimensional abilities. Greetings, we are the Arcturian Council. We are pleased to connect with all of you. You have awakened within you the abilities that are associated with the fifth dimension, but you do not know how to access them yet. It is like buying a new technological gadget that you've never seen before and not having any instructions available to you. So as you feel for the abilities within you, please recognize that your acknowledgement of them is the first step in gaining full access. You won't be able to access these abilities by lamenting the fact that you haven't accessed them yet. That is counterproductive. So what you want to do is focus. You want to focus on how these fifth dimensional abilities feel as you contemplate them. And we're talking about telekinesis, telepathy, teleportation specifically. There are others as well that you'll become aware of as you continue on in your journey. Feel for the power that is within you. Feel for it vibrationally. Do not wait until you have full access for these abilities before you feel how powerful you are. Many of you have already taken sneak peeks of these abilities. You know that at times you access them, if only for an instant. You also know that you're becoming your higher selves, and with that means greater access to so much more than these abilities. We recommend that you don't get fixated on them or any one of them. Instead, we want you to continue to feel for the power, feel for the consciousness and the vibration of your higher self. Your higher self has the instruction manual. When you act, speak, and think as your higher self would, you bring yourself into harmony with that which you most desire. And in so doing, you help others gain access to their higher self and to their fifth dimensional abilities. You are about to have a lot more fun than you have been having. Your past, present, and future. You sometimes find yourself looking at the past, and in the process of looking at your past, you remember things. But you remember those things from your present moment perspective. From your present moment perspective, you might feel much differently about your past than you did while you were living it. And that has everything to do with the overall vibration that you were holding back then versus your overall vibration in the present moment. This can cause you to feel guilt, shame, regret, sadness, and anger around situations, events, and circumstances that you didn't feel any negative emotions around at the time. It is important for you not to judge who you are now or who you have been. Therefore, if you're going to look back at yourself in the past, we suggest that you do so from a place of compassion. We suggest that you look at anything from your past through the eyes of unconditional love. There's nothing that has ever happened in your life experience that you need to now fix or make better in any way. This is one of the reasons why you're often told to be present. The present moment version of yourself is really the only one that matters. And if you have people in your life who continually try to get you to go back in time with them to relive some aspect of the past, you can help that person or those people to be more present by holding your consciousness in your present, no matter how hard they try to get you to go back to the past with them. Your lives are yours to define. Your lives are yours to live. And your lives are yours to continue to create. So we recommend that you don't let anything from your past determine who you are deciding to be in the moment and what you are allowing yourself to create. Creating the future that you want means being present in the moment that you want to be in. Allowing your past to control any aspect of you or of your life is also a choice, and it's a choice that doesn't serve you. Be present. Be who you want to be and let go of everything else. Going with the flow. It is all about the way that you look at something. This is what determines your experience of it. Therefore, when something is appearing to be detrimental to your experience, to the enjoyment of your life, you really do want to change the way that you are looking at it. It is the most important factor in whether you are enjoying your life right now. You have that free will that goes beyond what you do or do not do with your lives. Your free will is also about deciding how much you are going to enjoy your lives versus whether you are deciding to just suffer through them. Now, it may not be easy to change the way you look at a circumstance in your life, but it is the challenges in life that are making it interesting. If everything were easy, life would get boring. So take the challenge to look for that silver lining. Look for it with the knowing that it is actually there. This is not about pretending that you are enjoying something. This is not smiling through a feeling of sadness we're talking about. We are talking about making a gradual shift, in the same way your ascension has been a gradual shift. Once you let a simple shift in your perception, you will open the floodgates. There is a great relief in letting go of attachment. If you were attached to going to the beach, then the rain would be much harder for you to accept. But if you can adapt in the moment and use the rain as an opportunity to explore something else, something you wouldn't have normally considered, Well, that's going with the flow. And that's how you allow energy to move through you. And that's the life that we want for all of you. Measuring your spiritual growth. You are expecting to feel something much different in order for you to accept that you are changing, raising your vibration, and raising the level of your consciousness. But you cannot always measure these things. You cannot always detect changes, so we are here to help. We want to help you measure the progress that you've made as individuals by getting you to look at some very important facts about yourself. Are you more empathetic now than you were 10 years ago? Do you care more about the earth and her environment more now than you did 15 years ago? Do you feel more compassion for others now than you've ever done before? Do you have a better relationship with animals than you've had at any other point in your life? Noticing things about yourself, small things, this is a way to measure your progress. You don't need to hear a little voice inside your head and know that it is coming from an ascended master to know that you are progressing spiritually. Instead, notice how differently you react when a family member of yours says something derogatory in your direction. Notice how much you care about people that you've never met before. Notice how interested you are in seeing equality, world peace, the end of violence, discrimination, poverty, and famine. You don't have to be the answer to all these things to know that you've grown as a human being. We just ask that you notice what your intentions are for the rest of humanity. We ask that you give yourself more credit and be less critical. You don't have to do anything to save this world or her inhabitants. Just be yourself, and that is enough. And when you acknowledge yourself, that brings us a tremendous amount of joy. Your ego and your higher self. You are awakening at a pace that is comfortable for your consciousness. It is also a pace that is comfortable for your ego. You often hear people talking about the death of the ego, or you hear about their attempts at suppressing their ego. But you are experiencing your ascension from the perspective of your ego. It is the only way for you to move from knowing yourself as your egos to knowing yourself as your higher selves. It is not to be diminished in some way, this perspective of the ego. You are simply expanding it to include more aspects of who you are from other lifetimes and parallel universes. You are reassembling the fragments of the ego so that your ego can comfortably become your higher self, which of course has always been there within you, just waiting for you to come to it and to don its perspective. You don't need to see this as a competition between the ego and the higher self, and you don't need to see it as either proposition. You are awakening to the knowing that you can merge your egoic perspective into that of your higher self's perspective. You can become your higher self without defeating or killing any other part of yourself. In fact, all parts of yourself are necessary in order to be the whole you that you are as your higher self. So this journey needs to be comfortable for that egoic perspective. You don't want to take on too much all at once. You don't want to shatter your old way of doing things all at once. You want to bring yourself, all parts of yourself, again slowly, gingerly, with tenderness and care. This is the way you are going to ascend. You are going to upload your ego into your higher self. And when you do, you are going to know the higher self's perspective, and you are going to be the fifth dimensional beings. So we ask you to please make the journey as pleasant as you possibly can on this very important, very significant aspect of who you are. Courage, power, and mastery. We have witnessed acts of courage on the part of the individual humans that have given us cause to believe that anything that any one of you is facing right now has not a single chance of getting the better of you. You, however, must pay attention to where you are putting your power in any situation. When you put the power in your own hands, you summon the strength and the courage necessary to face any circumstance that you find in your lives. When you give the power to the circumstance or a person or a government, then you find yourself shrinking in the face of something that you have created. Humans have been doing this since you began to have your consciousness there on planet Earth. You have created insurmountable odds, vicious villains, and enormous natural disasters, so that you would have an opportunity to face something that appeared to be bigger than you, that appeared to be outside of you. You have given yourselves many opportunities to experience what it is like to be courageous. You need not, however, create these circumstances in order to demonstrate to yourself how powerful you are. Instead of creating obstacles for you to overcome, you can begin to create new experiences, new realities, new worlds that will give you an opportunity to experience yourself as masters. Masters do not need to prove to themselves that they are powerful or courageous. Living as a master means that you live in harmony with your environment. You coexist peacefully with one another, and you create from out of nothing the most glorious of circumstances. So now that you know how powerful you are, know that you have tested yourself over and over, you can let go of that old paradigm, and you can let in the experience of mastery on an individual and a collective scale. We know that you are ready. Do you? You are making progress. We are beyond satisfied and pleased with your progress you are making when it comes to settling disputes in your personal lives. We see the efforts that you all make to come to agreement with each other, to bring peace to situations where there has been turmoil, even bad blood. We are recognizing the movement forward that you are making as a collective in the settling of the smallest of disputes. Whenever one of you decides to take the high road, to apologize, to forgive, to give someone else the benefit of the doubt, you are making enormous headway, and you are bringing yourselves closer to the full ascension of your consciousness. The coming together of individuals with different perspectives is one of the most beautiful things that we witness on your world, and we witness it happening every single day. We want you to know how powerful the effects are of your solving the minor issues that come up between you. The effects are enormous because of the ripple effect. The energy that gets sent out across the universe is one of unity. Bringing yourself together, you create the source energy experience. The source energy experience is all beings coexisting harmoniously in the same one being. No matter how different the perspective might be, they are peacefully coexisting within source. This does not mean that source is schizophrenic. What it simply means is that the source energy understands perspective, understands the power of difference and variety, and seeing all that sync up on one planet is something that brings you closer and closer to having heaven on earth. Of course, you still have a long way to go, but you are making progress every day. When you think about the very large dispute and how they are playing out on your world, recognize that those are extrapolations of the experience that you are having with each other in your relationships, in your friendships, with your neighbors, with your co-workers, with authority figures, and all of these disputes can be settled when you give your ego a break and you let yourself have the experience of knowing that everyone and everything is a part of you. Therefore, when you are at battle with another, you are only battling yourself. And when you recognize this, it is very easy for you to lay down your arms and coexist peacefully. Your radiance is brilliant. You all exhibit a radiance that emanates from the core of your beingness. Your radiance is not only seen, it is felt. Those who are tuned to seeing and feeling that radiance know you by it. We certainly do as well. There is an energy transmission that comes off each of you that will help you in rediscovery of the deeper connection that you have with each other. You are knowing yourselves in this lifetime as friends, lovers, co-workers, relatives, and even just acquaintances. But the bigger picture of your connection to each other is something that will become clearer to you as you are able to perceive that radiance. When you are able to feel and understand the transmission of energy that moves between you, it will become clearer to you who you really are to each other. You will find that the knowing of someone else takes on a new meaning as you let their radiance in, as you merge with another. You are not just getting to know who they've been in this one lifetime. You are actually integrating with them. You can integrate parts of yourself by interacting with another in the same way that you integrate aspects of yourself by listening to us or reading our words. These integrations occur because you are ready to reassemble. And on the human level, there's just as much reassembling going on as on the galactic scale. When you are receiving another's radiance, you are perceiving it with your own. Therefore, you connect with more of the light of who you are when you connect with the light of someone else. And when you let that light in, you both shine brighter. When you are true to yourself and you allow another to be true to themselves, that is when you know that there is a synergy occurring. And that is when the light shines even brighter within each of you, and as a result of the two of you coming together. And that sort of brilliance is something we love to witness, and we see more of it all the time. We are the Arcturian Council, and we have enjoyed connecting with you.